Hey everyone. I want to welcome Ashish Dalela, my cousin from Bangalore. Now, he's had a lot of life experience. He's been an IITian and he's led a long life as a monk as well. And now he is working in a software company. Well, he'll tell more about that. So let's welcome him. Hi, Ashish.
Hello, Anshu.
Okay.
How are you?
So I'm good. How about you?
I'm all right. Good.
Good. Great. So I'm just going to be asking a few questions. And I know there's a certain way you'll be responding. So I'm very much ready for that. Let's go ahead. What's your idea of happiness, or how do you understand it? I mean,
Happiness.
yeah.
So, happiness comes from desire.
Okay.
When your desire is fulfilled, then you become unhappy. Happy.
Okay.
But if your desire is not fulfilled, then you become unhappy, right?
Okay, right.
So the beginning of happiness is desire.
Okay.
And this desire exists in a very primordial form in everybody, and it is the desire for love.
Okay.
Okay. So all happiness comes from loving.
Right.
But the question is, what is the right person to love? Who is the right person to love?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So some of us love money.
Okay.
Some of us love house. Some of us love, fame. Some of us love knowledge. Okay.
Right.
And every time we love somebody, we find some deficiency. Either in the person whom we are loving or the object of love, because they may fulfill some things, but they may not be able to fulfill other things.
Right.
Or, you may love them, but they may not love you back.
Yeah. Things will never, objects will never, but yeah, human beings can.
Human beings can, but even if they love you back, after some time they may go away. People may die.
Yeah. Right. They will, yeah.
Right. So loving. So if you ask what makes happy, what makes us happy, simple answer is love. And if you want permanent happiness, you have to love a person who can, be permanently happy. So that person is the Supreme Lord. Okay, we have many names, and but the goal of life is to love that person.
Okay.
Now there are many kinds of happiness. There is some happiness that you get even if you're hungry. If you're hungry, you eat food, you get some happiness. It's temporary, right?
Right.
If you're tired, you go to sleep, you rest, and you get some happiness. That's also temporary. You will again get tired.
Okay.
And there are many levels of happiness. Okay.
Yeah.
The happiness you get from food is inferior to the mental happiness. What is mental happiness? It comes from, thinking, ideas,
right.
intellect. Intellectual happiness is superior than that also. So there are many grades of happiness. And then there is a happiness from knowing who I am, realizing, which is called self-realization. There is happiness. And then there is even superior happiness that comes from, God realization, or, the realization of the Supreme Person.
Okay.
So if you ask what is your understanding of happiness, there are lot of levels of happiness. Okay. The lowest level happiness is the animal level of happiness. It's called eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Okay. Eating,
Right.
sleeping, mating, and defending. This is there in all animals. Every animal eats, sleeps, mates, and defends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we
Right.
are also trying to get happiness in the same way. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Most of the people.
defense, we may not understand easily. Defense means I have a house, I have some money, I have property. It's all, safety basically.
Yeah.
If you go to Western psychology, they will talk about the most basic need in a person is that of security,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
they'll talk about biological needs, and then they'll talk about safety and security needs, and they'll talk about needs of esteem and things like that. And then at the top of that pyramid of needs in Western psychology is that self-realization or self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
But
Self-actualization, they say.
self-actualization. But in
Yeah.
Indian philosophy, we say there is something higher than self-actualization,
Mm-hmm.
and that is realizing uh, the nature of God, and
Okay.
uh, and self understanding or self actualization comes as part of understanding God.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of deep philosophy about this, and if you have specific questions, then we can go in that direction. But this is a short answer to your
Okay.
question.
So you mentioned two things. Person should be self-aware, first of all. Who am I exactly? And then he should also proceed to realize who the God Almighty is and what's my relation with Him is, and establish a relationship with the Supreme Being to actually realize what real happiness is all about. Right?
Right. So I will add some clarifications to this. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because the notion of people say God. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of names of God. Somebody will say God is Allah. Somebody will say it's Jehovah. Somebody will say it's Krishna. Somebody will say Rama, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So before we ask who is God,
Mm-hmm.
we should ask what is God.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
we have the concept of Bhagavat Tattva. Tattva means essence or substance or thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
we should ask what is that thing that we can call God? Should I call my house God? Because for some people, house may be worshipable.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, money may be worshipable. For some
Mm-hmm.
people, knowledge may be worshipable.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of worship,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some people worship power.
Mm-hmm.
So you said God Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
You
No,
have assumed that God is
no, no,
mind.
that's the English way of like representing him, I must say.
So I want to
Okay.
clarify.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
clarify.
Right.
Okay. So I want to
So,
clarify.
so
What is the
let
definition of God?
yeah, Bhagavad Tattva. You must speak about
Bhagavad
this.
Tattva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Bhagavan is made up of two words. First is
Mm-hmm.
Bhaga, and second is Van. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Bhagavan means one who has qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 6 qualities described,
Okay.
attributed to God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ananda Chinmaya Shad Ujjwala Vigrahasya. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shad, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Ujjwala Vigrahasya. So I'll explain what is this Ujjwala Vigrahasya.
Mm-hmm.
So what are these 6 things? They are described as first is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what do I mean by God is knowledge? Okay. Everything you take a book, it has some knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You take medicine, it has some information in it. Okay. There is a tree, there is some information in it. This world has some information in it. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of diversity of knowledge. If you study the tree, you can get some knowledge. If you study animals, you get some knowledge. You study your body, you get some knowledge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But these are all classifications of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
like physics. chemistry, biology, economics, sociology. Okay. So these are departments of knowledge, classifications of knowledge. When we study this, we assume there is something called knowledge itself.
Okay.
Right? If somebody asks you what is knowledge, you can never explain. Knowledge is something I acquire, and that makes me aware of, things. But there are so many kinds of knowledge. Economics is knowledge, sociology is knowledge, physics is knowledge, mathematics is knowledge. But there are so many departments. What is knowledge itself? Okay. So we define God as knowledge itself, the idea of knowledge.
Okay.
That's the first definition. There are 6 definitions. Okay. The most fundamental thing is God is knowledge. So vadanti tat vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam. So vadanti, the knowers of the truth, say that this thing or the ultimate truth is jnanam advayam. Okay, there is a deep philosophy about this, but advayam means non-dual, because in this world all knowledge is built up of oppositions, contradictions.
Right.
Like we say, hot and cold, black and white, red and blue, left wing, right wing, etc., etc.
Right.
So the source of all these things is that knowledge which is advaya, non-dual, which means free of all these contradictions. Okay, oppositions. Okay. That means all the oppositions exist in that knowledge, and they are simply divided out of that advayam knowledge, non-dual knowledge. That's the first definition. Okay. So just in this understanding of that non-dual knowledge, there are several sub-classifications. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, all these classifications are there. But basic understanding is that first definition is God is knowledge. Yeah. We don't use the word God, but in English, this is the only word.
Yeah, right.
The right word is Bhagavan. Okay. So Bhaga this is the first Bhaga. Okay. The second Bhaga is beauty. So you can say, okay, there is knowledge, but it seems like, knowledge is a very abstract idea. Now, every idea is contained in this idea. So how can I understand something so abstract? Okay. So then they say it has a form. You can see that form. You can perceive that form. It is not simply that knowledge is an abstract idea. It is also that knowledge has a form. So that the second quality of Bhagavan is beauty. Okay. Okay. So first knowledge, and that knowledge is a form, it's beauty. Okay. Then that knowledge has other, qualities, from there, because you can, knowledge can get subdivided. Lots of things can expand from knowledge. Okay. Okay. So these, expansions, they become, so there are 4 more qualities described. They call fame.
Yeah. Fame.
Wealth. Yeah. Fame. Okay. Fame is heroism.
Okay.
Okay. Fame, so fame is an English word, but what is fame? If you go into what is fame, fame is heroism. Okay. Right? Lord is the greatest hero. Okay. Right. Which means he can perform great deeds. So because everything can expand from this knowledge, the expansion is called his wealth. Okay. Okay. So this wealth means, trees, houses, planets, everything is wealth. Why? Because it has expanded from knowledge. So it is a part of knowledge. an expansion from knowledge. It's called wealth. Once you got these objects, then you can control them. So because it is an expansion from him, then he controls. That is called power. Okay. So when we say God Almighty, what we say is, God is controlling everything. But that's a very low-level idea. I mean, it's not that it is false, but it comes much later in the understanding. After everything has expanded, then you talk about control. But if things did not exist, what will you control?
Okay, right.
And once everything is expanded, he also enters that expansion. Okay. So it is not like, just like you can say there is an idea called dog. Okay. And there are many species of dogs like Alsatian, Pomeranian, etc., etc. And so if you look at a species, you will say dog is there in this species. When you look at it, you'll say this is a dog. And yet dog as an idea is also outside the dog.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So God is the original idea, and yet he is inside everything. Okay. So the thing that is original outside is called Bhagavan, and what is inside everything is called Paramatma.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And all these diverse things, they are called Brahman.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see, you can say the whole world is Brahman. But where did it come from? It came from Bhagavan. And once it has come from Bhagavan, Bhagavan has also entered everything as Paramatma. So Paramatma is there in your heart. How is he there? He is there as the purpose of your life, as the purpose of your existence. It is not purposeless. Right?
Right. Okay.
Right. So he is outside, he is inside, and he is everything. And he is the source of everything. Okay. So this is in a short summary, the essence of what we call Vedanta philosophy.
Okay.
Okay. Right. If you have questions, let me know.
Yeah. You talked about 6 qualities. Now, the number 1 was knowledge. Number 2 was beauty. Number 3 was heroism. Number 4 was wealth. No, wealth came before.
Wealth is third. Heroism is
4th. Then we talked about number 5 was power.
Power is there. Yeah. And the 6th one I did not mention is renunciation, detachment.
Okay, right. That's what I wanted to clarify.
This is also a quality of, this is a quality of God. Detachment means I am independent, Swarat.
Okay.
Okay. Swarat, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviye. So Swarat means independent of everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That is independent also means I am detached. Detached. These English words are a little difficult. I mean, when you translate them, Sanskrit into English, it becomes difficult. But the real meaning is independent. Okay. So he is detached from everything. He is not dependent on anybody. Everything is dependent on him.
Okay. So he is idea himself, and as an idea, he exists in others as well, as a Paramatma.
Yes, right. Paramatma. He is knowledge itself. Knowledge has a form that, form expands into many innumerable forms. And he is inside all those forms. Okay. And once he is inside, he controls from outside and inside both. So there is a lot of, detailed understanding of how he controls from outside, how he controls from inside.
Okay. Now, as that Paramatman exists in every single soul under the sun, why there's so much of suffering, and why people are not able to actually, what should I say, live a life that they were born to live. I mean, being happy.
So the basic thing is deep inside everybody, why is everybody unhappy? Okay, this is a basic question you're asking. Am I correct?
Yeah, right. Not everybody, but
Okay.
yeah, most of the people.
I would say everybody.
Okay. Okay. Let's say
Yes.
everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll explain why everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Even if you take the richest man on the planet, okay, he may have billions of dollars, but he's thinking, can I double my wealth?
Okay.
Okay. The most powerful person is thinking, can I conquer yet some more other countries and become more powerful? The most famous person, popular person is still thinking, how can I become more popular? Right?
Okay. Right.
The person who has a tremendous amount of knowledge is still thinking, hey, can I get more knowledge? Is
Okay.
it not?
Yeah,
Am I saying
absolutely.
something?
Oh,
Okay.
you're absolutely
So
right.
because, yeah. See, everybody is suffering. And the basic cause of suffering is that deep inside everybody is an inferiority complex.
Okay.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
This inferiority complex is called Maya.
Okay.
I'm translating it into English.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Maya means that which is not.
Mundane.
No, that which is not.
That which is
Simple
not.
Maya, that which is
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Okay, but so everybody is covered by this feeling of I am not. What I am not. I don't have
Okay.
perfect knowledge. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have all the power. I don't have all the wealth. I am
Mm-hmm.
not famous enough.
Mm-hmm.
I am not powerful enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how much knowledge, how much wealth, how much power, how much fame, how much beauty, some people also think I'm not beautiful enough. I'm ugly.
Mm-hmm.
The most beautiful person may suffer from, oh, my left side doesn't look good. Let me take the selfie from the right side.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
So there is inferiority in every person. This inferiority is called Maya. You cannot, you have to go to the root of, what is this Maya?
Okay.
Okay. And if you sit and analyze, if you're introspective, you can understand why everybody is suffering.
That which
So
is
from
not.
this
That which is
sorry,
not.
that which is not. So I am feeling I am not. And what am I comparing myself to? God.
Okay.
So God is perfect knowledge. God is perfect power. God is, famous. His fame itself, his beauty itself, you know.
Right.
So I am saying I am not like God. I don't have all the knowledge. I don't have all the power. I don't have all the wealth. I don't have all the beauty. So I am feeling inferior.
Okay. So
So
the
from this,
Paramatman is inside, but how should a person feel like
that
that?
we will come to that.
Okay.
Okay, so first understand how we got into this place. Right, there
Okay.
is a process.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So once this inferiority comes, okay, in
Mm-hmm.
us, it's called Maya.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Immediately we develop a sense of, or we start asking ourselves, how can I become great?
Oh.
If I'm feeling inferior, the first thing
Mm-hmm.
is, okay, if I'm feeling inferior, what is the method of becoming superior?
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Right.
answer is obviously I can get more knowledge, I can get more power, more wealth, all these things. And we come up with different schemes. Everybody's coming up with different scheme of how I can become great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This tattva, this element of greatness is called Mahat Tattva.
Okay.
There is a name for it. So
Mm-hmm.
from Maya or primordial form, it's called Prakriti. From Prakriti comes Mahat Tattva. First
Mm-hmm.
I feel inferior, then I come up with a scheme of how to become superior.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Right.
And once I come up with this idea that I want to be superior, it's not enough.
Mm.
Because if I say, Anshu, you are, inferior guy and you have some scheme of, becoming great, how that's going to work?
Mm-hmm.
So from that Mahatattva comes Ahankara. Means I am already great in some way.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because if I have no confidence in myself, I cannot even execute my, goals or
Scheme.
plans for greatness.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So this Ankara is also called pride. It's false pride. So you take anybody, somebody's got some money, he wants 10 times more money. But if you say, oh, you have got nothing. Say, no, I have got $1 million. He has pride. He has ego.
Okay.
This Ankara is called ego. Okay. So from this pride, germinates what is called, buddhi. Intellect. So buddhi is conditioned by our ego. And so this is how, and from buddhi comes manas, manas comes indriya, indriya. So there is a big process of, it's described how the soul, the jivatma, is covered by, first of all, inferiority. From inferiority, there is another covering of layers of superiority. Okay? So every person, if you study them, they are basically caught between this inferiority and superiority.
Okay.
Everybody is like that. Okay? They are trying to be superior, but they are suffering from inferiority.
Okay.
And this struggle will never come to an end in this material existence, because you are comparing, you will never have complete knowledge, you'll never have complete, you'll not be the most beautiful, you'll never be the most powerful, you'll never be the most wealthy, no matter how much you have. Okay? So in Tantra Shastra, okay, Tantra philosophy, there are many, divisions of, they have very clearly described what are the ways in which we feel we are inferior. Okay?
Okay.
They have classified and said 5 ways we feel inferior. Okay? So this Maya has 5 classifications. The first thing is, I am in only one place. I'm not everywhere. So I'm inferior. I'm limited basically. I have limited knowledge. I have limited abilities. I cannot do everything. I cannot even enjoy everything. Right? I'm limited in my enjoyment. So there are, within this layer, this thing of inferiority, if there is a detailed description of many layers of inferiority.
Okay.
Okay. And so there are 5 layers, but let's not get into a lot of details. If you want, I can go in there. But basically, this now question is, how does this Maya cover the Jiva, soul? Okay.
No, you
And the
mentioned.
basic reason. Yeah.
Just a sec. Let me get to a previous point. You mentioned there's a struggle, right, between the inferiority and the superiority, and that's why the person can never be, happy, right? Lead a happy existence.
Yes, there's always an inner conflict.
So how can a person do away with that struggle of being inferior and feeling superior as well at the same time?
Right. So we have to realize that we are small. This is called Anu and Vibhu. So God is Vibhu. Vibhu means he is full. And Jiva is Anu. Anu is small, atomic. Right?
Right.
Now, you can be very happy with the realization that you are small. Okay? Just like a child is there. Okay? He can feel very happy in the protection of their parents. I have no worry. My parents will protect me. I can, so the happiness is not restricted by whether I'm small or whether I'm big.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This unhappiness comes because we become envious.
Okay.
Okay? We become envious of God.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be big. Why big? What is example of big? I want to have more power, more wealth, more knowledge, more beauty, more fame.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Right.
So that I can be like that, like God.
Okay.
So when this envy comes, this enviousness is originating in the sense of inferiority.
Mm.
We feel inferior because, see, if you go to, we sometimes we talk about a lot of great people, okay? We say
Mm-hmm.
so and so is very great. But
Mm-hmm.
can you exist in the proximity of greatness? There are two ways. You can exist, you can say, oh, this person is so great. And I love him, I worship him, I respect him, I adore him. Other
Mm-hmm.
is, hey man, this guy is great, but look at me, I am inferior. I want to
Okay.
be like him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it is not easy to exist in the presence of greatness.
Okay.
Because the moment you see a great person, you feel inferior and then you want to be like that great person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
So we say God is great, or a lot of people say God is great. How great we have talked about, is
Yeah. Right.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
great, it's everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Source of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we are part of that. So
Mm-hmm.
how can the part become equal to the whole? It can never become, but it tries to become,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the source. By first of all, whenever you see a superior person, immediately there can be two reactions. One is I adore you, I love you, I respect you,
Mm-hmm.
I serve you. That is one reaction. Other is, why can't I be like you? Why
Okay.
shouldn't I get all the things that you are getting?
Mm-hmm.
And you understand,
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
right? So this
Yeah.
is the source by which the soul becomes inferior, which is called Maya. From Maya springs my ideas of greatness. From that greatness comes my false pride. From false pride comes buddhi, manas, indriya, and this body is created.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so the root of entry or the suffering, unhappiness is because I want to be something which I am not, and I cannot become. But because I
Mm-hmm.
feel enviousness, why
Mm-hmm.
is that person great? Why can't I be like him?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So this is, and you can
Okay.
never, this is the root cause of suffering.
Okay. So you mean to say that first of all, we should accept the fact that we are nothing. We are just an anu,
We are not
right?
nothing. We are Anu. Anu is
Right.
not nothing.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
Okay,
It's
it's not
a
nothing.
it's a very small cog in the wheel, the big wheel. I mean.
Yeah, we can say we are small, and we I mean, what is there, and what is the difficulty in accepting that?
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
right? This
Mm-hmm.
earth, we say, has got 7 billion people. Okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but in your body there are about 6 trillion cells,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And along with 6 trillion cells, there are 60 trillion bacteria
Mm-hmm.
in your
Right.
body.
Uh,
Okay, so
mm-hmm.
there are 10 times more bacteria in your body. Now you go and count how many living entities are there outside,
Right. Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If in your body there are 10 times more, and you are one, you got 6 trillion cells, the 60 trillion bacteria. You count how many living entities. So this is like, we are very small,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I
Right.
can become a bacteria also,
Mm.
right? I
Right.
can be as
Right.
small as that. So we are very small. It is not, due to certain factors, we have got some control over, the things. We've got a
Mm-hmm.
body by which we can control. We've got some intellect and things like that. There are many smaller living entities. They have no control. A tree is, you put a seed inside. What control tree has? He's growing in that land. He has to suffer, cold and wind and water and sunlight. He has no control,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So we are small. We are anu. We are atomic.
Okay.
And, we can be very happy if we accept that we are small. And that acceptance simply requires us to say, yeah, we are small and, there is greatness. Then I can coexist with greatness.
Okay.
Without trying to become great.
Without trying to become.
And when we accept that greatness, we become part of that greatness. This is, Ramanujacharya has explained, this is called the philosophy of Vishishtadvaita, that the jiva is part of God. Just like you have hand, you have legs, fingers, all these things, they are part. Okay?
Right.
So like that, the jiva is, and the hand serves the body, the leg serves the body. So like that, the jiva is part. And if he understands that, that is happiness. Because now he knows what is my function, what is my role, what is my purpose. Otherwise, I am just trying to do the job of the leg trying to do the job of the brain, or the leg saying I can be the whole body. There will be total chaos.
Okay. Okay. So once the person accepts that he is really small, and in the process, he realizes that, okay, he is a part of something really, really great, right?
Yes.
Is that enough for ultimate happiness, or is there something else that has to be added to?
No, this is sufficient. This is the conclusion that this philosophy, or this is divided into three parts. Okay, it's called sambandha. Sambandha means relation. This is relation between whole and part. Okay, this is, we can go into a lot of depths about what is this whole and what is part, but I explained, just like, there are many departments of knowledge, physics, chemistry, mathematics, right? So what is the relation between mathematics to knowledge? Which means, how is mathematics aiding my knowledge? Mathematics is not knowledge, is not all the knowledge.
Yeah,
it's not knowledge itself,
yes.
Right? So mathematics is aiding or serving a part, or it's contributing to knowledge. So there is a relationship between mathematics and knowledge. Okay, this is sambandha. Okay, then abhideya means I have to serve, I have to contribute. If if mathematics is not contributing to knowledge, if it is saying knowledge is impossible, for example, then what is the use of mathematics, right? So it has to serve, right? And then once you serve, then there is a result. Then you're basically, when you are serving, then your desire is service, then your desire is fulfilled, right? Then mathematics becomes very valuable because it's contributing to knowledge. If mathematics was not advancing our knowledge, then mathematics would be useless. Like that, the soul is also part of God. This is sambandha, the whole part. And the soul has to serve. And when it serves, it becomes useful. Right?
Okay, right.
Valuable, important. Right?
Right. And then you talked about result also.
Yeah, that is the prayojan. Prayojan is, the result. Sambandha, abhideya, prayojan. Sambandha is relationship between whole and part. Abhideya is the part serving the whole, and the result is pleasure, happiness. So this is in Vedanta Sutra, it is said, Anandamayo Bhyasat. Abhyasa means, there are several meanings. One is, we are accustomed to happiness, or we practice happiness. Anandamayo Bhyasat. So this absolute truth is said to be, Anandamayo Bhyasat. Means he is accustomed to happiness. He practices happiness. So because that happiness is there, so this is the purpose. Why should the greatness divide into atoms? Right? Why? What is the reason? The reason is pleasure. The purpose is pleasure, enjoyment.
Okay. Okay, coming a bit down from the spiritual platform, let's talk about
Yes.
the mortal human beings.
Okay.
Uh, Say a person is born and then he goes through the usual process like being brought up by parents, being spoon-fed by a society, and then he goes on study, and then he like gets a job, a family he starts, right? And people are usually not aware of, the things that we've talked about today, right?
Yes.
Now, for that person to actually um, say put the first step forward on the journey to happiness, what should that be? As you mentioned, he should feel small first of all, or he should know that he is small.
Well, so you don't start by saying I'm small. Okay.
Okay, right.
You don't
Then,
start that. You say, what is greatness? Because you're already asking, right?
okay, right.
The first sutra in Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Okay. The book, you will not find a book in the world that begins with therefore. Okay.
Right.
Vedanta Sutra begins with therefore. Ath ataha. Now therefore. Okay. Brahma Jigyasa. Inquire into the nature of Brahman. The absolute truth. So it is not by saying that I am small. So what is the use of that?
Okay.
Let's understand great. Okay. Once I understand great, then I can appreciate that great.
Okay.
Once I can appreciate the greatness, there is no question of me thinking I am small. I am already understanding that I am part of that greatness. That inferiority sense, I am insignificant, I am nobody, that is all goes away.
Okay.
Because we are focused on what is great.
Okay.
Right? So it is not beginning with I am small. It is beginning with let's understand greatness.
Let's understand greatness, appreciate it, and automatically, first of all, establish a relation, right? That okay.
Once you understand, then you will establish a relation. But first step is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. You have to inquire about the nature of absolute truth. Therefore, and why therefore now, therefore. Atha ataha. Athato. Ataha means now, therefore means now that you are in human form of life. Okay, therefore inquire into the nature of man. There is a fly here. Let me see if I can move this away.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And how can a person go about that process without delving into thousands of books?
Well, you have to see, you can delve into thousands of books or not delve into thousands of books. If you want to know something, you have to read some books, but it doesn't have to be thousands of books. Right? Ultimately, it is not just, you have to find a person who knows.
Okay. A guru.
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidhi pranipaten pariprashnena sevaya ubdekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Okay, so tad vidhi. Vidhi means to know. Tat means that, to know that. What? The absolute truth. Tad vidhi pranipaten. Pranipaten means surrender, fall down, not arrogance. Pariprashnena means submissively ask questions, inquiry, jigyasa. Athato Brahma Jigyasa, Pariprashnena. Ask questions. It's not that, you tell me something, I'll blindly accept. Okay? It is questioning. Questioning, counter questioning, but it is not challenging. Questioning is different from arrogant challenging. And then sevaya, serving. So Krishna has given a method. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubdekshanti te jnanam. They can teach you the knowledge, jnaninas tattvadarshina, because they know the truth, they're seeing the truth.
Mhm.
Tattvadarshi. So that tattva is, we talk about tattva many times. We talked about it in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanam matvayam. So that tattva is this absolute truth.
Mm. Okay. And
So, reading books is, it's not that it's forbidden, but ultimately when you read books, you'll get confused.
yeah.
You have to approach a person who knows.
Okay.
And so this is called parampara. This is called guru parampara.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that somebody will artificially suddenly become guru. Oh, I know everything. I meditated and I got realization. No, that is not the.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna says this knowledge was lost, and I had to come and re-establish it.
Mm-hmm.
Evam parampara praptam. So this is parampara. This is received through parampara. Okay, just like you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And or you cannot read some medical books at home and say that I'm doctor. Can
Yeah,
you?
you can. No, no,
You
obviously
start.
not.
You cannot start treating patients.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to college. Your professor has to certify you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this man has passed the exam, so he is qualified to be doctor. You cannot say that I meditated and I became doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Not possible. So you have to learn, and the teacher has to certify you. You are authorized. If you get authorized by the teacher, then you can teach.
Is it not very difficult to find the right teacher nowadays?
It is
Guru, I
difficult.
mean. Yeah.
Yes, it is difficult,
Mm-hmm.
but it is also easy.
Oh,
Depends on what you are looking for.
okay.
Okay.
Mm.
See, most people, if they go to, teacher, like I can, teach certain things, but people come to me and say, sir, what is going to happen to coronavirus?
yeah.
What should I
Right.
do? How should I rescue myself from this difficult problem?
Mm-hmm.
So that is not the right question. That's not Athato Brahma Jigyasa. It is you're trying to solve some mundane problems.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we are getting wrong teachers because we are asking the wrong questions.
Okay.
We are seeking the wrong things. We are seeking some mundane things. So somebody will come and give you, this is the world of cheaters and cheated. If you want to be cheated, there will
Mm-hmm.
be a cheater who will come and give you the exact type of cheating you want.
Right. Yeah.
So guru is not difficult to find. First, you have to fix up your mind on what you want, because people will get, a lot of people will say, oh, I want to do yoga. I want to learn some exercise. So they make some
Mm-hmm.
guru.
Mm-hmm.
And after some time, they realize that he knows yoga very well. He is teaching yoga very well, but other things are not there. Other
Mm-hmm.
things may be more perverted than, normally you expect, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. So, if a person is actually having the curiosity to know about, you know, the supreme being,
Yes.
then how will a person go about in search of a guru? Or how should a person rather? How will I should say?
How should a person go about? First of all,
Mm-hmm.
there are some qualifications. Okay, I have explained the whole thing that,
Mm-hmm.
the person who can teach about God should be free from envy of God. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first qualification. Okay. So
Okay.
anybody who says, I am God,
okay. He's the right
okay,
guy.
is
Yes.
disqualified. Okay.
Okay.
First
Okay.
symptom of, because, every politician wants to become very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Every intellectual wants to, so everybody is trying to be God. So if somebody comes
Mm-hmm.
and says, I'm already God, okay, that's the first symptom. The guy is totally not qualified to be Guru.
Okay.
because he is suffering from that same problem. He's taking it to the limit, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be great, but they're not acknowledging. If you normally say, if you talk to like a big politician, they will not say, I want to be God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They just say, I want more power. And they get more
Right.
power, even more power. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is asking for more, but they will not say, I'm God or I want to become God. Because they don't know, or they don't. But somebody who says, I am already God has, taken that leap.
Okay.
Okay?
Right. Right.
So first symptom is, he should not be competing with God.
Mm.
Okay? Or saying, I am God. Anybody who says
Mm-hmm.
that, reject. That's the first
Okay.
step.
Mm-hmm.
Second step is, he should be a devotee of
Mm-hmm.
the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you are existing in presence of greatness. Okay? And you're not
Mm-hmm.
envious of greatness. You are
Mm-hmm.
rather appreciating greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So if somebody, let's say there is a head of state, head of a
Mm-hmm.
country, and there is one secretary under him, and the secretary keeps feeling, why this prime minister or president is getting so much respect, why I can't become myself, let's displace him.
Okay.
Right? That
Right.
mentality is not suitable, to be considered as a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to compete with.
Right.
So the person should be devotee, right? He should
Mm-hmm.
appreciate. Art is
Mm-hmm.
great. He is beautiful. He is complete. So these are the basic symptoms,
Okay.
right? So if the
Mm-hmm.
person is not a devotee, reject immediately. But there are more things beyond that. There are many levels of devotees. Some people may have just simple devotion, faith, and they may not have knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot explain to you scientifically what
Mm-hmm.
is God. They may say Krishna is God, Rama is God, and so is God. But why? What makes him God? Why not me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a
Right.
basic
Right.
question. What
Mm-hmm.
makes him, he also comes like a human being. People say Krishna is also okay. He did some, great things, but okay, maybe he lifted, Govardhan. So maybe if he built a giant machine which lifted a mountain, that I'll also be great.
Yeah.
And somebody can say, okay, look, in this and this country, they built such a big, building, which was bigger than this mountain. So they
Mm-hmm.
are great. So we have to understand, what is, so that knowledge has to be there. The high class devotee is not simply a devotee, but
Mm-hmm.
also one who understands, and scientifically can explain. So there are
Okay.
many steps, right? First step is rule out all the, envious guys who are trying to be what they can never be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let them fix their own problems first.
Okay. Right.
So the second step is you find the person who is devotionally inclined to the Lord, and then you find a person who also has a scientific and deep understanding of what God is and what I am and why I am suffering, of what is this material nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a
Right.
step by step process. You can apply a set of rules,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
check marks.
Right. So in the meantime, while this seeking is on for a guru, what should a person
Hmm.
do?
You can, so again, I'll reference Vedanta Sutra. It says
Mm-hmm.
that, you can, study books. So it begins with,
Okay.
saying that let's inquire into Brahman, and these are, scriptures are the source of this knowledge, and etc. etc. It gives a lot of these things. And then it also goes on to say that people who, certain people are disqualified from all these. They're not
Mm-hmm.
capable. They're not intelligent. They don't have good qualities. Even if they read the books, they will just misinterpret it and propagate misunderstandings about it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the question is asked, what should, because today everybody is like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Very few people are, intelligent, and those who are got little bit intelligence, they got enormous pride, ego.
Right,
I am
right.
so great, I've got knowledge and all this. There's no humility. So how can they appreciate greatness, which is, significantly greater than them? So
Yeah.
it is described, that the word is used kampanat, vibrations, kampanat. So you can chant the names of the Lord, kampanat, vibrations. You produce vibes just
Vibrations.
like, so, then there are subsequent sutras. Is what if I don't understand what is this, sound? Don't worry. You just vibrate the sound. Yeah?
Right.
So just like, you probably know the story of Maharshi Valmiki.
Mara mara.
So he,
Yeah.
Mara Mara Mara.
Mara
Yeah.
mara.
So this is Kampanat. Mara 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 Mara. Right? So this
Right.
is, so in different ages, there are different methods prescribed. In Satya Yoga, the method is austerity, tapasya. Right? So you go and sit in a silent place in a jungle. You eat once in a day. You drink water from the spring, and then you perform great austerities. And in Treta Yuga, they say, yagya. Yagya means you have to perform great, they are not no longer performing physical austerities, they're performing charities, right? Yagya and, worshipping God. And later on in the upper, they say temple worship, deity worship, because our capacity is decreasing. How many people can actually do yagya today? In yagya, you're supposed to give cows, and you have to give charity and wealth, and nobody has that much wealth.
Right.
Maybe, maybe 5 people, 10 people in this world can actually do yagya, but of course they are not interested. And that's beside the point. So the
Right.
general process is now in Dwapar Yoga is a temple worship. Now, even for temple worship, there is a Pancharatrika Vidhi. Okay? There's a process. It's cleanliness. It's lots of rules and regulations are there. It's not that the rules and regulations are there for loving the Lord, right? They're there for us. Okay? For example, if you go and if you're going to meet the Prime Minister of the country, at least you'll say, let me take bath, right? Let me comb my hair, let me wear clean clothes, so I am presentable, right? Nobody
Right.
will say that, oh, I am going to meet the Prime Minister of the country, I have just gotten out of bed, let's go and meet him in pajamas.
Okay.
Right? So
Right.
you want to be clean, you want to be well dressed. Why? Because this is a mark of respect for the person you are meeting. Right? If you're not
Right.
properly dressed, if you're not taking a bath, you are showing disrespect to the person who you are going to meet. You don't care. Right? So the person you're worshipping is not going to be reduced if you don't do that, but it's for you. So there are lots of processes, cleanliness is the most important. Right? Unfortunately, in this age, how much we are not able to do that. Right?
Right.
So in this age, it's said, in Kalisantara and Upanishad, it is said, Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. So in this age of Kali Yuga, the chanting of the name of Hari is the only way, is the only way, is the only way. Okay? And then 3 times it says, Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam. Eva means certainly, Kevalam means only. Certainly, this is the only way. And then he goes on to confirm, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Okay? So from multiple sources, whether you say Kampanath or you say Hare Nam, so this is the process. And you can, this is the, and you can chant anywhere, in the toilet also you can chant. You can chant before sleeping, while getting up, while yawning. We say, Jai Shri Ram, and then we yawn sometimes. We may yawn. So even anytime, there is no restrictions.
Right.
There is no, if you take other Vedic mantras, there is a lot of restrictions on pronunciation, correct pronunciation, correct meter, right? You have to observe the meter, and you have to, there are proper, ways of, this thing, pronouncing it. So these regulations are not there. It's very easy.
Okay, let me ask you a
Why it
question
is easy?
here.
Because we are, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I've seen so many people who've been initiated in the process by the gurus per se, but they are also not really happy. What could be the possible reason? And they are chanting morning to night.
They are chanting.
They are.
What are they chanting?
They are chanting the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they are not happy.
They are. Well, I mean, they try to show something, right? But deep inside, when you sit down with them, talk to them, say for an hour, 2 hours, so you get to know the person is actually not very happy, actually. So what could be the possible reason?
See, So
they are also
there
in the
are
same struggle.
So it's okay. So yes, so you can even when you are chanting, okay, people have lots of first of all, if you chant purely, okay, let me distinguish between pure chanting and impure chanting. Okay, what is pure chanting? Pure chanting is, it's called causeless. Causeless means I have no purpose.
Right.
Okay, means I'm not going to God and saying, give me some wealth. I am suffering. Please take away my misery. Can I get my job? Can I get good marks in exam? My child is sick. Can you take away the sickness? Can I get promoted? Etc. etc. Right? So we are asking so many things. Okay, we are not chanting because I am loving God or I want to love God. Okay. We have accepted, God as the supplier. I'll give orders and God will supply my order. So it's a very cheap mechanism, right?
Right.
If by saying, can you give me $100? And if I get $100, it's a very cheap method because I don't have to work. Right?
Right.
So if we want to love God, we have to give ourselves.
Okay, the point of my asking this question was there's so many people who go to Himalayas. They are in Vrindavan, Barsana, Ayodhya, these places, Haridwar as well, and they've left their life. I mean, what as we know life as it is. I mean, right? And still, they are highly confused. Lot.
Yes.
And
so that Krishna also says
they actually don't have any purpose. I mean, they don't attach a purpose to say, I want this, that's why I'm chanting. No, it's not that.
Yeah. No, so that is there. You have to approach and be guided by the right person. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Right? So Manushyanam sahastreshu. So Krishna is saying out of thousands of men, okay, one will yatati siddhaye. Yatati means he's trying for perfection. Siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam. Out of thousands of people who have attained perfection, only one knows me perfectly. So, it is very difficult. Okay?
Yeah. So happiness is very difficult then.
Well, it is. It is the most important thing.
But it's very
It is the
difficult
most
also.
important thing. So we have to sacrifice, right? See, the thing is, uh, let's say we say you want when you become 21, you want a job. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to go through school,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then college.
Mm-hmm.
So you, how many years you spend? You spend 20 years studying, or maybe 18 years studying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If I
Right.
say, can you study it, spend 18 years and study scriptures? Answer will be no.
Mm-hmm.
We work in a job, I know my colleagues, and all of us work 12 to 16 hours sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
For what? Some money.
Mm-hmm.
If we say for self-realization or God realization, can you work 10 to 12 hours a day? Answer is no.
Nobody will. It's a busy world today.
So then, so you may have a lot of people saying that I've given up everything and all these things, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
look at the details.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are they doing in those hours?
Okay, for normal people like us, we chant, suppose. Okay, we start chanting the name. Um, then we feel miserable again. Then what? Means in the beginning of our chat, if I remember right, you mentioned about kids being really, really happy, right? Um, is there no
It's a
way
it's
where
a slow process. Yeah, I can tell you from my experience. Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
this is a point. If you question, if you say that does this process work and why are some
No,
people
no, it
unhappy?
does
Yes,
work.
I know.
It
I
does
know there
work,
are.
but
Yeah,
it's a long
it's a slow process.
process.
It's a slow and long process, and
Mhm.
it can be made fast. Okay,
Okay, right.
it can be made very very fast,
Mhm,
but we have to give up varieties of impurities that we are carrying. Okay,
mhm,
which means to say, like for example, when you are chanting, you would have seen jokes about this, somebody is doing puja but also talking about what's going on in the kitchen, what's etc etc, right? So
mhm,
our mind is distracted. Even we may be sitting in one place and chanting, but my mind is all over the place.
mhm. Right.
So that is
Mhm,
not meditation, because manas, mantra means mana trayate iti mantra. It has to liberate the mind. That means at least you have to concentrate the mind.
mhm,
You cannot sit and chant some sound and my mind is everywhere else thinking of everything else. Then it's not then my consciousness is not there, right? It is
mhm,
like cycling. you
mhm,
know we can cycle without knowing that my feet are going up and down.
mhm.
That is not chanting, right?
Right.
So it begins, first of all, you have to, of course, the first step is called Shravanam. This is Narada Bhakti Sutra, Shravanam.
Mhm,
First step is hearing.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Then comes Kirtanam, chanting. Chanting comes later after hearing, but it doesn't, there is a deep meaning to this. It means when you are perfectly hearing all the time,
mhm,
okay,
mhm,
then you can start chanting. This is you can also, right now also you can chant, but if you're not
mhm.
hearing, it's not considered chanting.
Okay. Mhm,
So you ask anybody,
mhm,
you say you have given up your life, you're chanting. What are you doing when you're sitting down and chanting? Where is your mind?
mhm.
Their
Mostly
mind,
the people. Yeah.
their mind is everywhere else,
Yeah.
other than on that. So it has to be, if you want to perfect, this is the process.
Mhm. Okay. Like, means I'm asking this again. Like Gorang Mahaprabhu propagated something like, you should go for Nagar Sankirtan, or in a group, large group, and sing in band,
Yes.
like that. So people I've seen doing that. and I've been part of that as well many a time. But I don't know. Maybe I've been with the wrong groups.
So you have to see you have to do it yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a personal
You have to
experience.
do it yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, examples of, perfect people, then you have to seek out those. It's very, very rare. That I've already said that, I'm not saying, Krishna is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sanam Sastreshu, out of 1 out of 1,000, and this is, 5,000 years ago, he's saying, 1 out of 1,000 will attempt for perfection, and out of many such thousands who have attained perfection will even know me.
Right.
Right? So it's a very, very rare. It is not for everybody. Okay, let's not, even though it is available to everybody, there is no discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not that everybody will pick it up.
Okay.
Right?
So is there any shortcut way for people who are really busy morning to night and struggling with
No,
life?
there is no shortcut.
There's
There
no
is no
shortcut.
shortcut. Okay. See, you
Okay.
are saying, let's say I said, right, to get a job that gives you 20,000 rupees a month.
Obviously,
People
you
spend
studied so
18,
many
20
years.
years studying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for 20,000 rupees, you are spending 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you are saying that, I want the, perfect thing in all existence without working.
Right. Okay.
Right? If you want to build a house, you work for so many years. And that's just a
Mm-hmm.
small house in a small town in a small country in this, in the insignificant planet out of these billions of, you know,
Right.
places in this universe. And this universe is a very small part, the smallest universe out of infinite universes.
Yeah.
So look at the insignificance of our existence and how much time and money and effort and all these things we are spending for these insignificant things. But when we
Mm-hmm.
say that, hey, I'll give you the most perfect thing, then we are very conjuice, right? We are
Okay.
misers. I
Okay.
don't have time. I'm busy. Okay, fine. Remain busy.
Okay. So what would be your, like, say, message to all the people out there who feel unhappy? They are not actually unhappy. Who feel unhappy, they are really stuck somewhere in their lives with something, maybe anything, I mean, and down and dusted, and also feel sometimes depressed. So, what would be your message to them? That what should they, like, start doing?
My message is simple. Chant
Mm-hmm.
the names of Lord Hari.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand, there are many layers in which we are suffering. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all this suffering is caused due to previous actions called karma. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
karma? Karma is produced by the neglect of dharma. Okay. So if you have a duty, right,
Mm-hmm.
you have taken a role in society and you neglect your duties and responsibilities, or you do what you're not supposed to do as per your duty and responsibility, you will create karma. And it can be good or it can be bad. Because of good, you get prosperity, you get enjoyment, and
Mm-hmm.
because of bad karma, you get suffering. Right? Nobody is
Mm-hmm.
calling for suffering. Please come to me. I want to
Huh.
suffer.
Yeah.
Nobody is calling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are only calling for happiness. But why is suffering coming automatically? Do you ask?
No, nobody.
Nobody asks. They attribute the problem to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I am suffering because my boss is not good. I am suffering because my spouse is not nice. I am suffering because my kids are not listening to me. I am suffering
Mm-hmm.
because of society. I am suffering because of this religion, that religion, this person. We blame everybody other than ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nobody will stand up and say, I am responsible for my suffering. It is my karma. I
Mm-hmm.
have performed, bad deeds because of which I am suffering.
Okay.
Okay, so the first step, if you want to solve the suffering, is accept complete responsibility. Stop blaming, everybody else.
Okay, right.
Okay, so this is the
Very.
essence of, this is the philosophy of karma, that, if you are going to make an improvement, first step is to accept responsibility, that I am responsible for my suffering.
Okay.
Right? So
So
you accept them, and
become accountable and responsible, and then.
and so once I'm responsible, then I have to understand this karma came because of neglect of dharma. So as there are a lot of material dharmas, if you're a married person, you have some duties towards parents, children, wife, whatever society and things. You do those dharmas. Nobody is saying you stop that dharma. But apart from all this dharma is a sanatan dharma. Okay?
Right.
Your duty towards your parents is only there till your parents are alive. Is it not?
Right.
Your duty towards your children is there only till a certain age. Your duty towards society, let's say you have to pay taxes, it is only there as long as you are earning. This is not eternal. Right? These are temporary duties. There is dharma. But beyond that is sanatan dharma. What is my eternal duty? Right? That eternal duty is loving the Lord. Right? So this sanatan dharma means, what is my eternal job? What is my eternal function?
Should this be taught in the schools? Because,
of course,
but it's not being taught.
that's okay. We are trying to bring it out. I do certain things. I'm trying to, propagate some of this knowledge. I write, but is it not being taught? Yeah, it's not being taught. It was being taught for a long period of time, and the knowledge declines over a period of time because people become, So there is a long history. If you want to discuss sometime, we can discuss how
Sure.
historically how things have changed, and what are the different philosophical schools, how one has come after the other, how the ideas are progressing in our intellectual tradition, and what we are doing now to take it further. Probably this will be too long.
Okay, we'll do it some other time.
Yeah.
Right. It was really nice having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Pretty revealing, and I got to learn quite a bit today. So thanks for that. Now, for the benefit of the people who are going to watch this video, I would like you to at least introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. Oh.
Yeah.
You already introduced me. I'm your cousin.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so, I did. You've already written, authored many books, right? That I know for a fact. What else? What actually you do?
Oh, okay. See, I'm trying to bring, the traditional understanding of philosophy, right? Because we have a very, very rich philosophical tradition. Okay. As you said, there are, hundreds and thousands of books, but they're all distilled into this one system called Vedanta. But Vedanta is not the only system. There are 6 systems, philosophy. There is Sankhya, there is Yoga, there is Nyaya, Vaisesika, and something called Purva Mimamsa or Mimamsa. So, and then within this Vedanta, there are many, sub traditions. Okay, there's Advaita Vedanta, and then there is, beyond Advaita, there is Vishishta Advaita, there is Dvaita, there is Dvaita Advaita, there is Veda Veda, Chinta Veda Veda, etc., etc. So, our tradition has become so fragmented over a period of time that people think that these are actually different religions or different philosophies, or they're not even consistent, and you know, and so on, right? So we don't think this is what we call the Vedic system is actually one system. Okay, people, you can go to the most die-hard, Hindu, whatever, person, and you ask them philosophical questions. Okay, uh, you know, uh, Dvaita and Advaita are two schools. Which are you, right? So if you are two different, one you say God is impersonal, other you say personal, right? Or you can say, is Hinduism monotheistic or polytheistic, or is it monistic, right? So we don't even have a clear understanding among, the people who want to follow or who follow, okay, what this system is. You can go to so many people and they don't have a clear. So the first step is to bring a scientific understanding. Okay, what is scientific understanding is that there are many aspects. Okay, and this is described, and one of the things that I do is this in Bhagavad Gita. In many places, this analogy is given that the world is like an inverted tree. Okay, the root is at the top, and from there come the branches, and the twigs and the leaves, and etc. etc. So the root is one. Okay, but it has produced many branches. And the branches have produced many sub branches, which we call twigs, and then there are many leaves and things like that. So we have to understand that how this whole tree is originating from a single source, which means there is a lot of diversity, but there is also unity. Okay, and the diversity has come from unity. So we have to understand that unity. Okay, so unity of Vedic philosophy is one of the themes. The other thing is, how do you scientifically present? Like I gave you certain examples, like we say God is outside everything, God is inside everything. That people say, oh, it's logically contradictory, right? Or there is a problem of theodicy, in at least in Western religions, Brahmic religions to some extent, they talk about evil. They say God created the world, so God created evil. So how can God create evil? How can you blame us when you created the evil? Right?
Right.
So there are many, many things like that. And then even this philosophy of karma, how is karma related to natural laws? Because it's a model of causality, right? So currently we have a two-way model of causality, cause and effect. Okay, we have a three-way model of causality. We say cause, effect, and consequence.
Okay.
Right. So it's a three-way model. Just like you take a gun and you shoot a person. Okay, you press the trigger and the person is shot. So the cause is pressing the trigger. Effect is bullet getting ejected and person getting shot. But that's not enough. Okay, that's not enough. That's not complete, because if a soldier does that, he will get a medal. Right?
Consequences will be different.
The ordinary person does that.
Consequences will be different for person.
Consequences will be coming later on. Okay. Right. So this is the tripartite model of cause. This is a different model of causality. And when this consequence comes, it also looks like in cause and effect. But it is connected to the previous cause and effect. Okay.
Right.
So if you want to understand what is karma or what is morality, you have to say that, first of all, what is right and wrong, right? So how can you know what is right and wrong? So you have to say, well, there is something called a role. Anshumali is a father. Can you see father around? Is a halo around Anshumali that is, I can see? No. You cannot see, but it is there. So his dharma is based on his role that you cannot see. You are only used to seeing body. You cannot see the role, but we understand roles. So how can you advance science into studying roles? Because once you study roles, then you can study responsibilities. You can talk about dharma. When you can talk about dharma, then you can talk about karma. Right? So there is there's a lot of, detailed stuff. I have a website if somebody is interested, by my name, ashishdalela.com. If you are interested, you can look at it,
Sure.
send me questions. Yeah.
Sure. So thank you so very much for this. It was really great. And I hope to see you safe soon again.
Yeah. I'm glad you called up, and I'm happy to talk anytime if you have further questions.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.